What's going on, boys? It's a great night to talk some baseball. Y'all doing okay?
That's every
better
night.
than last night.
Every night is a great night to talk baseball.
Yeah.
Well, last night started out as a great night to talk baseball. We'll get into that in a minute, but we want to welcome you into the 24 Curveballs podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Aaron. That's Kevin. Jason there on the end, and we just want to. We got a lot's happened again. In keeping with the theme, boys. Going back to the day of our first episode, go back to May 9th. We are 9-3, should be 10-2. Hard to say anything other than we're the Magic.
It feels good to be recognized, even by myself, and I just want to take this opportunity to recognize myself for all the impact that I've made on myself and others. And
I really don't give myself enough credit.
It's been an honor working with me.
I want to thank me.
Yeah, I don't get nearly the thanks I deserve, and so I just want to take a minute,
We,
I'm
we
glad
put
you
out
had that time.
Yeah.
Good.
We put out on our first episode, we kind of talked about what we wanted to see out of the next 10 games. And I think I sort of said that we ought to win. We ought to go 9-1, which I still feel like we should have. But I think we kind of settled on 7-3, 8-2, and that's right where we landed. So it definitely feels like things are trending up. I feel like good things are going to come. I think last night's an outlier, which we'll talk about that.
The thing for me, and this is where today we're recording this on Tuesday, the thing that struck me over that 10 games, or the last 10 games, has been a sense of stability, right? Like stasis.
Yep.
Like we knew. I feel like John Singleton is our first baseman. I feel like we figured out like Jake Myers is the real deal. Like he's not 2 years ago Jake, right? That's going to hit 230 and whatever. He's pre-injury Jake, right?
Yeah, he's up to like 280, isn't he?
I think I saw 300 today. Like he's right around there.
I know his OPS is right at 900, which is
right. So
unbelievable.
He's the real deal. Joey Loperfido has done. We've done great, and then. So all that where you just go, man, like we figured it out. We'll start clicking. You start getting some good at bats under your belt. You know where you are, and then today,
And then you get it spotted.
Well, we'll get into that in a minute. Let's unpack some of the on-field things since last week. One of the most bizarre things that I saw in the whole time was the 13-pitch Contreras at bat with Verlander, where Verlander all night long has had this incredible. Now, don't get me wrong; both JV and Contreras have said probably the greatest at bat of their careers, and I get it. It was a great at bat, but I'm like
better for Contreras than for JV.
Yeah. Well, I think towards the end, JV went 8 straight fastballs, and I'm like, I don't care who you are. Wilson Contreras is eventually going to get your fastball, and both the changeup and the slide piece had been devastating all night, and so it was just bizarre to me, and I didn't feel like it had to go that way.
And this isn't 24 curveballs, right? Like 24 curveballs were devastating and blinding fools.
Guys off their front feet.
Wilson Contreras was not fooled on 8 fastballs, and JV lost. And that is, I don't know if that's pride. Like, I mean, he'd been humping that day, but I don't know, like at some point you got to pitch and just go, okay, I can break one off here, and he looks like a fool, or.
Well, every one of those foul balls, the reason why he was able to hit 12 of them, if you're not like if you're a baseball fan but you never played, or you're not a hitting guy, what you look for in a foul ball to tell how your stuff is playing against a guy, if a guy is hitting the ball hard straight back or just lacing balls down the line but out, that means he's on you, versus those kind of versus just kind of where you're topping balls into the dirt. And every one of Contreras's was the previous two, so he wasn't fooled. It was just a matter of I just think I don't know, man. I don't know why he
anything.
Just
Pull
stayed
a
there.
String, like give me a changeup, something to change. And he kept staying higher than high, right? I don't know. He came back. He was clearly feeling it. He's got the rebuilt wing. He wants to test it out. You just hate and again, we weren't going to win every game. Milwaukee's a good freaking team.
Good team. Yeah, first place in the Central.
And so, but that at bat was that was that was mental mistakes, and that's the thing where those have been the things that are killing us. I think are just the between your ears, all about two-base toot lands and inability to make minor adjustments for Bregman. Like all year, it's just been mental stuff at Framber's entire existence.
Yeah.
So that was Kevin had the fortune of being between my house and his last night. So he leaves my house. We're up 6-1. And then, because let's be honest, that JV at bat, the JV giving up the 3-run bomb is probably the pitching mental lapse of the week for me. Were it not for last night.
No doubt.
I mean,
no doubt about it.
So I left Aaron's last night, and we're up, and Framber's throwing. I mean, he's just killing them.
He was great through 4 innings.
I get home, and I'm like, when did it turn into he was throwing BP?
So everything came out tonight or today, and it said that both Espada and Diaz and Framber himself just said that he deviated from the game plan, like he jumped ship. And I saw, and then I'll turn it over to you, Jason, because I know you got it. But the quote that actually, like, I don't know, made me jokingly broke my heart was for Yiner, because Yiner said he was like, I can't physically make him throw a pitch. I can just push the buttons, but if he shakes, he shakes. And so I felt like Yiner's in this impossible position where he's trying to prove himself as a catcher. Yeah. And before that statement, everybody's going, what is this kid calling? When it turns out he's running a game plan, and Framber decides he's going to rewrite the book in the fifth inning.
So you're telling me a guy with one decent start, this like it all of a sudden out of nowhere, he's just going totally off script. My deal is like a guy like that. It calls himself La Grassa, right? With his swagger and his stuff like that. I don't have room for that crap. You can strut when you're winning ball games. When you go off script because you feel like you've got the stuff tonight, well, great. You better have the stuff. And if you don't, you're going to be freaking pitching in Miami. So,
and he did. He was throwing 98, 99 miles an hour. Tit high over the middle,
bro.
Yeah.
It's just it's like that guy is. It's beyond. I hope he can stabilize himself. It is to the point. Framber is fragile. He is going to melt down. And I thought, man, when he balked and he didn't
dismiss Laz.
Yeah, he dismissed Laz, which is the perfect response for him. I was like, well, hey, maybe this is the new and improved Framber. But when he went rogue last night, there's no way. You're not contributing enough to the overall product that we can have you just changing the script in the middle of the day.
If we ever make merch, I think we need Framber Gonna Framber merch. That could be our first shirt. Framber Gonna Framber. So this is a question, and I know we'll deep dive into this later, but is it an overreach for me to go, this is another, though, Framber wears the bulk of the responsibility. There's no way around that. That said, I'm like Josh Miller. Like, does you think how far off the script does Framber get before Brent Strom goes out and says, "I'll punch you in the mouth here on the mound if you shake your catcher one more time"? And so it kind of goes back to that. I struggle to know what are we doing.
I haven't seen
we've had a lack of coaching. We've had a lack of coaching all season. I mean, we've had a lack of leadership from the dugout all season. And so whether it's Miller or whether it's Espada or whatever, you don't get to 3 home runs. I mean, call something off before that.
Yeah. But those guys feel like they can do that. Like, I get a feeling that there's certain managers that when you look over and I'm guessing if you're a left-handed pitcher and every time you come set, you're staring Bruce Bochy in the face, I bet you don't deviate from the game plan.
But you think Buck Showalter gets shook off?
Yeah. Back in the day, you think Earl Weaver is tolerating you? Yeah. I'm like, so there's a part of that where I'm just like, there's no. There's no.
It's lack.
It doesn't
of
feel like there's leadership.
Control. Well, and the thing is, if you let it go in this game, you let it go in this game. I mean, you're showing him we're never going to reel you in.
Yep. He said after the game, Jason sent me this earlier. He said after the game, I went off the script. I made a choice. I have to live with the consequences of that. I'm like, no, bro, your whole team does.
Yeah.
Because I look at that game,
dude.
your offense was great as it has been. 7 runs ought to win most, if not all, baseball games. Your defense has been elite. John Singleton made a couple of scoops last night that just outstanding. And even the bullpen has been solid. I was looking at some numbers today. Michael Schwab posted Josh Hader, Ryan Presley, and Brian Abreu have combined for an ERA of 1.80 in May.
That's wild.
That is wild.
Right? What?
Yeah, Astros pitching ERA in May. Starting pitching 5.24, but the relievers have been 2.36.
Yeah.
Your starting pitchers in May, Ronel Blanco at 3.07. Everybody else is right at or over 5.
Dude, that's what it was supposed to be, right? Like, that's in line with what we were expecting at the beginning of the year. The fact that it didn't come to fruition kind of says something. Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. So, and it feels like you're just kind of crapping it away. And then you fast forward to tonight, and here's a big one. I don't know what to do, man. Like, okay, so Chaz is back. I think he went 1 for 8 in Double-A, and he's starting tonight in left field, and Loperfito's going to sit. And I'm like, what? So Chaz is back. They option Trey Cabbage. So Loperfito is just gonna sit. Like,
right?
Are they gonna? What?
Loperfito's hitting 333, and Jake's hitting 290 on the whole year. But for this month, Jake's hitting like 350.
Yeah,
Jake's been on fire the last week.
Yeah. And Chaz wasn't doing crap before that. And I don't know at this point what Chaz brings to the table. I don't like, this is a part where I start to go, it's the wild freaking West in Astros land. Like, what the hell is going on? Why
all of the outfielders
is
right.
Chaz? Do we get Chaz some reps and then trade him?
I don't even know that you get him reps. I think you trade him before he can hurt his value anymore.
But what he can do is, so Bregman's cold in the cleanup spot. Now you got 1 for 8 Chaz and freaking Abreu on the horizon. So we're going to be right back to where we were in April with 3 candy-ass
automatic outs.
We're going to talk in a little bit about pitcher rehab assignments, and I'm going to make the statement, or I wrote down the statement, I don't put a lot of stock in stats from a pitcher's rehab assignment. No. That said, I do put a lot of stock because when a hitter, so and part of the reason I say that, Jason, you remember, this wasn't a game I went to with you. Bree and I went to a game in Round Rock, and they were playing the AAA team for the Rockies. This was the year after Carlos Gomez won the National League MVP. Mm-hmm. He went 4 for 4 with 2 doubles and 2 bombs. The first ball he hit was hit so hard, my wife looked at me, Bree looked at me and said, is he using a different kind of bat?
Right, yeah.
And I said, no, baby, he's using a different kind of talent.
Yeah.
And so the fact that he went down, not even to AAA, that he went to Double-A, and because I live in San Antonio, not even a particularly good Double-A team, and got 1 hit on the weekend, that's not encouraging, and we're going to run him out there to face big league pitching tonight.
And I'll say this, boys, we missed out. We should have been at least at one of those games.
On Saturday, Chaz and Urquidy started on Saturday in San Antonio. Yeah. Oh, well.
Yeah, we missed that.
I don't understand. There's no sense to be made of it, right? Like to hurry that back. There's no sense to be made of it. And so now and I know I haven't been in a spot of honk, but I want it to work. We see the uptick and you're like, hey, great, maybe do it. And then the first chance he gets, he goes back to literally tinkering with everything that worked, undoing it.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, that's where we're going to be. That's where it doesn't matter that we've gone. What have we gone? 9 and 3. 11 or
9 and 3.
That's great and all, but when you give a spot of his options back, he's going to put Bregman back in the 4 spot. He's going to take Dubon off the field. He's going to just screw us up.
Dubon's another one. He went big fly last night.
So what's our okay? So what's our ideal lineup, right? So is it Jake in left, Joey in center, Tucker in right, and with Dubon and I like Jake in left because he's just got he's got a noodle, but he's got a cannon. Is that your outfielder with those 4 outfielders?
I do feel like at some point, Singleton had a good night last night, but before that he had started to cool off. At some point, there's still a decision coming at first base. In fact, I was thinking earlier, like the way Jason, you were a catcher. You've seen Victor Caratini throw guys out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I've seen a more accurate arm from behind the dish. If I'm Yiner, I'm like, hey, Skip, maybe get me some reps at first base pregame, huh?
Yeah, right. Well, especially while Jordan can't hit a barn with a deep ball.
Yeah, it's I was hoping that Singleton was going to run away with first base while he had the opportunity, but he just hasn't. He's still sitting at 224, and a couple games he's really smoked the ball, but other than those couple hits, those couple bombs.
When Bregman was hot, you could handle.
You can hide him.
You could hide Singleton. I love the defense that Singleton plays. I think that I think Dubon can defensively handle anywhere. Put him at first base. But again, it's just back to this whole freaking shell game of just sliding. Trying to get everyone. Who the hell are we? Like, what are we doing? And that was the deal for 15 games or whatever. We looked like a team who had done something, and now we're back to that shuffle crap. And
in terms of being demoralized, I'm going to play you guys a little bit of audio. This is the Astros pregame show on AM 790 in Houston. This is Robert Ashford sitting with Dana Brown. So I probably won't play the whole 2 minutes, but here you go. He's going to talk about some other great news. Maybe that should really be playing, and it wasn't. So, that was unfortunate. Let's try to
Joe Espada
in games the last couple of days. The Florida Complex League rookie ball played.
He's obviously talking about Jose Abreu.
Played yesterday and also played on Friday. So obviously a good sign that Jose Abreu.
Yeah, the good thing is we just talked to Jeff Bagwell last night. It was me, Joe, right before the game. Me, Joe Espada, and Jeff Bagwell. We had a conversation because Jeff was down there working with him for a couple days. I know he's been down there working with Renee. And so ultimately he's doing well, making some adjustments. There's a chance we could see him back for the Oakland series. We're going to give him a few more games, either down there or maybe potentially in AAA. Get him 2 games and travel the off day up to Oakland, and then maybe we'll see him back on Friday.
A bag of.
Yep, caught it just in time. What? This is an honest question, and I know that I'm certain that the guys genuinely like Abreu as a dude, but how demoralizing is it to be on the heater we've been on and to have in one day your general manager and coach go, guys, we're going to reintroduce both of the problems?
I don't understand.
You cannot make it make sense to me. There's no.
Oh, I can make it make sense. $45 million is the sense that it makes.
But everybody always says it's about the wins. Everybody always says it's about the wins.
Not the guys with the money.
Well, Dana Brown said that, he's like, well, later in that quote, if we'd have kept listening, he said, we'll try to ease him back into play. But then there was a Brian McTaggart quote from Joe Espada saying, if he's on the roster, I have to play him. The only way to see what's happened and what he's done is to have him in the lineup. And so he went 3 for 4 today, but it's against instructional league pitching.
Has anybody ever burned through organizational goodwill like Jeff Bagwell? Like, that guy was a Hall of Famer, and I don't ever want to see his ass. You're funny in the booth with Blummer. I love it. That's great. Everything you touch from a baseball operations standpoint is
terrible
garbage.
Yeah.
I don't feel better that Jeff Bagwell is down there talking to Jose Abreu.
Well, here's what's crazy to me. If you listen back to that quote, if we were to play it again, and I won't because I don't want to watch Kevin suffer like that. But and you hear him talk about
together,
like,
man.
you listen to what he's saying, but listen to what he wasn't saying. You didn't hear him say that he's hitting. You
Right.
just heard him say he's making some adjustments. He's getting some ABs. There was never did Dana Brown say he's found his power swing. He's it was for a guy who's pretty intentional with his words. The fact that Dana Brown didn't mention that he can hit was discouraging
In
to me.
71 at bats, if it's 22 games played with us, he's batting 0.99, and we're
Yeah,
bringing him
that's
back
at the big league.
After what? Well, you said he went 3 for 4 today, so that would make him 4 for 12 overall.
Well, that's
I just-
for a coast league. Those are guys that are not. Those are not single A ball players like that.
Yeah,
No,
they're me. They're me.
But 19, yeah. It is. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. Not even as backup for Singleton. I think you got to start getting Loperfido reps. You got to have that bat in the lineup. You've got, because what's going to happen, my biggest fear is that Joey Lopes is going to just sit and go cold and lose his timing. And that's a shame because that kid seems to have, what else it does is not only does that, it also, in my opinion, I've never been a major league ball player, obviously, but you have to believe at some point, I know it did for Chris Bryant with the Cubs. When the organization jacks with you like that, it starts to, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth, and you're like, why am I going to re-sign with you guys? You wasted a year of my life.
Yes, and that's what. And the Astros have a history of doing that. Like that, there's been some of that
played
that's
into
why
Springer.
Yep, that's why we don't re-sign a lot of free agents, which makes me nervous about Tucker. But no, that's exactly the deal. Like Joey Loperfido came up and he meshed. You see him getting along with the guys. He hit. He did everything that was asked him to, and we're moving him down for a 40-year-old a Cuban 40.
Right. Could be 75 years old.
He swings like a 75-year-old man, and he can't play defense, and he can't run. So he's a hell of a dude in that he volunteered to go to the Florida Coast League. We should trust him. We should bet on and say, you are right, Jose. That's where you belong.
Yeah.
He does have one of the best chin ponytails in the game.
He looks like he smells like Levi Garrett spit.
Yeah, but like that's been left in your truck on a hot day.
Styrofoam
Not
spitter.
fresh.
No. Yeah, burned molasses. Yeah.
As a guy who enjoyed Levi Garrett for a great many years, that is not a pleasant smell.
Nope.
Not a pleasant smell. He's the anti-Yuli. I always felt like Yuli. You remember I used to tell you, I'm like, I bet that dude smells great.
Sure.
I bet Yuli smells wonderful.
His skin potions, right? Yeah, no. Yuli had
his shirt unbuttoned to his navel, just
yes, sir.
ready to go. Ready to go. Yeah, have a party. Yeah, all the time. Yuli is the guy who said that for Cuban League games. When Julia was like, "Hey, is it much different in the major league?" He's like, "Oh yeah, the preparation time." She was like, "Well, how much before games would you show up in Cuba?" He's like, 30 minutes.
Yeah. It's like men's league, right? It's like rec league baseball for them. Yeah.
All right, I'm ready.
So this is where I'm going to insert I don't put a whole lot of stock in rehab starts for pitchers because you never know what they're working on in a game. It could have just been, hey, I'm going to go out and throw 100 sliders. Urquidy's close. They said one more rehab coming up Friday at Sugarland. Over 2 starts with Double-A, though. He was 10 hits, 8 runs, 7 of them earned in 6.2 innings. What I was encouraged by, 5 Ks to 2 walks, and one of those walks was intentional.
I think
so the controls there.
I mean, Urquidy's not going to come back and be JV, right? Like he's gonna be Urquidy, but he's going to fill it up. He's going to throw strikes. They're going to put balls in play. Let our elite defense work, and he's gonna eat up innings. Which at this point, the way we started, that's what we need, right?
The other thing that could be misleading on a start like that is 2 years ago, Kevin and I went and saw Lance McCullers pitch on a rehab assignment in San Antonio.
Yep.
And you could tell the energy. Every kid in that missions lineup was this. They're about to make a career highlight. They swung early. They swung hard. So it's hard to tell. Every pitch. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm glad.
Close your eyes and swing hard.
I'm kind of glad to have the depth back because we got to get Hunter Brown out of the rotation for me.
Oh. Boy, if you had Hunter Brown and Dana Brown on the same clip, I might have walked off.
Yeah, the Brown clan is sort of screwing us this year, no?
Yeah. Yeah, well, Dana and Hunter like having a contest for which Brown can do it the worst.
We got a lot of head cases. We got a lot of mental kind of midgets. We weren't ready for this season, man. Like my hope. Like it should be April now, right? Like maybe 2 weeks ago is when we just go like that. You should hit the season like. And again, like I'm sitting here in my comfortable chair telling Joe Espada how to do it, but I don't know how to do it necessarily. But I know when it's not been done, and it just you know what I mean, and it hasn't been done, and that's the thing where you just go. There's got to be accountability, and it's all of it together. More than just. Oh, well, the pitching didn't it was all a steaming pile, and it's kind of now coming back together. But you have the appearance of managing your way around that too. And maybe Chaz goes 6 for 6 today, but
I'm sure he will. I badmouthed him. That's the surest sign
that
he's about to have a career night.
Really, one of the best ways for a guy to go off is for Aaron to talk some trash.
You know, you've heard some people say that past performance is the greatest predictor of future success. Nope. Me ripping you in the public forum is.
Yeah. Hey.
I found the Joe Espada quote. Joe Espada on Jose Abreu. It's from Chandler Rome. For us to see the adjustments he's made and get him back going, he's going to have to play. If he agreed to go down there and make those adjustments, we're going to have to play him to get the results.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
Here's my deal.
You're getting results, Joe.
Yes, you're getting results, Joe. You get the results. Because here's the deal. There's no point in his entire tenure with the Astros that I go, that's what I want. Right now, I'd rather bet on Singleton. I would rather have Singleton's 230 because you know why? Because at some point he's going to do one of those monster bat flips and he's going to bring energy. All Abreu does is I don't know what he does. He got RBIs for us last year. That great, whatever. I don't want that.
He has given us some incredible show fodder, and that's not nothing.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's all he's done for us.
Jason, I can't read the writing, but I see you're wearing your King Tuck shirt.
That's
your Tuve King of New York City.
Altuve King of. This is Apollo T-shirts. I got several on board.
So we're going to talk Kyle Tucker for a minute because we need some happy thoughts. Yeah. My favorite. Speaking of head cases, in the very best way. This is what I love about baseball. The Sunday, the Orbit's birthday. Tucker cleat game. So my man wears.
This is why he's my favorite, dude. I love
because he goes. Baseball. He buys these. I have a picture of it. I just don't know how to show you. But it's these bright green Orbit cleats, and he is ready to go. He is, but goes 0 for 2 in them. God bless you.
Yeah,
big ugly case. He knows. And Jason, what was your response to me? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
About how he knew. You said his feet felt empty.
Yeah, dude. Well, he just knew. He's like, hey, this ain't it.
So he goes back and puts on his regular gamers and hits 2 bombs.
Tuck knows ball, dude. Tucker knows ball. Julia
has said that he is probably like low-key the funniest guy on the team. That it's just nonstop one-liners. That the whole time in the dugout, hey, my man can yell the F word with the best of them when he pops up.
He does not approve of fly balls.
He does
and honestly, if Bregman had that ethic, he would have retired in just shame and misery. I wish we could get a little bit of that. I wish
maybe
he would
somewhere in the middle. Yeah, somewhere where the kids can still be in the ballpark.
Yeah, it's a family game, Tuck. It's a family event, brother.
So he's already got 15 home runs, 9 stolen bases, right, on his 30-30 pursuit. feels like that's a foregone conclusion. Just
Is he leading the
about
majors in home
like
runs?
it's something that would have to
Yes.
go really wrong for him not to get there.
yeah. And so this is an honest question. Then, I mean, I hate what I think the answer is, but how much is this guy worth?
He's worth what Bregman thinks Bregman's worth, at least.
He's probably
Yes.
worth what Scott Boras thinks Bregman's worth.
He might.
You know what?
Well, here's the deal.
That's the number.
I mean, and again, like I don't know any comps, but whatever it is at the top. I mean, because here's the deal. Who am I going to go get to replace that? I'm going to have to go get Fernando Tatis, right? With that deal.
For me, yeah, I think the three names that you probably put in that category would be Mookie and Juan Soto and Marcelo Osuna, maybe.
The best outfielders in the game. Yeah, right. Yeah, because he's the only, and Soto may have caught him by this point, but he's the only guy in the American League with an OPS above 1,000, which he was leading the league in home runs. He's always right around 300, and he always gets the big hit. It seems like always is a big stretch, but he's the one I want. Him and Pena, he's the one that I want.
One non-Astros take: a lot of guys wilt under the bright lights of New York City. Juan Soto ain't scared.
Yeah,
some dudes are built for it.
As a baseball fan, it's hard. I hated when he was in Washington and he did the dance. I wanted to hate him, whatever. But dang, dude, I love what he does.
That's one of those guys for me, like growing up in the, kind of high school into college, mid to late 90s, I hated the Braves, obviously, and all members of the Braves. But Chipper Jones was that way for me. I'm like, God, I hate you, but you do everything the right way.
Love to watch how you do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that Yankees outfield, I hate them.
Well, we're going to talk about Tucker, so let's not do that.
Sorry.
Is he the MVP?
I don't want to go. I don't want to talk about the Yankees outfield anymore.
Is he the MVP frontrunner right now?
I think he does.
I think
he's
it's
the
between-
MVP, but I think Soto wins it.
I think it's between him and Soto.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably true.
And Tucker's going to have to outperform Soto by a fairly noticeable amount
Because of
for him to
market
be able to
bias?
win it. Yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think you're right. Big news today: Luis Garcia threw off of the game mound, so he was actually out on the field. No batters. It wasn't a live BP, but Luis Garcia from the big mound. So
Big step.
it tells me he's close. Lance McCullers has not yet. And if you remember at the beginning of the year, all projections had LMJ ahead of Luis Garcia, and it would appear that perhaps they've leapfrogged.
I mean, LMJ, I saw that he was going to get some more coffee for motivation. But
Lance McCullers is not throwing pitches for the Astros.
You don't think so? You don't think he'll throw another pitch on this contract?
no.
Man, on this
He's
contract,
got
I
to
don't
pitch
know.
next year, dude.
Yeah, I cannot imagine that there will be a reason for him to come back.
No,
next
why,
year.
why would he, Aaron? You say he's got to. Why?
I mean, if you're asking me, it's like because Jose Abreu runs at least he runs his decrepit ass out there every day. Like there's this integrity involved in it. Like
I'm not arguing that with you a bit.
No.
I'm just saying when you say he's got to, I mean,
this was okay.
all
You know what's
signs
true?
say he doesn't.
You know this is the worst part about all this Lance McCullers thing is this is a moment where I've had to admit that my dad was right, and I hate that crap. Because Jason, I don't know if you remember, but my dad watched one game from Lance McCullers Jr., and I was like, this kid is amazing. And my dad said, that kid's made of glass. And I was like, well, you're just a curmudgeon. Turns out.
Yeah.
The old man knows a thing or two.
The old dudes can spot a
Yeah.
what's the term I'm looking for?
Yeah, I'm really glad you didn't say it.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah.
Well done. Your restraint is commendable.
They can spot a what now? What can they spot, Kev?
Yeah, what did he throw?
One of those things.
Did he throw 8? Has he thrown? Is it 8 games on this contract? On this 6-year contract? This is year 4?
I feel like that's right. 2 multiple elbow surgeries.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to end up with surgeries more than games.
Dang, man.
Okay. Jeremy Pena, on top of being chiseled out of stone by the gods themselves.
Got those eyelashes, bro. Like, don't you flirt with
And
me,
I've
sir.
never in my life wanted anything like I want Tacaria Randas.
Tacaria Randas.
He is a beautiful man, but he is finally
killing me.
finally hitting like his physique, isn't he?
Yeah. Like, what did he say? Like, shortened. He took kind of the leg drive out, the front
He
leg
just took
kick out
that
or whatever.
weird loopy hand thing he was doing.
It has worked. The big thing is the way that he has discovered how to hit a breaking pitch. That is
To identify and
remarkable.
lay
Lay off.
Yes,
Yeah.
Lay off
exactly,
of a
Kevin.
pitch.
That was his Achilles heel, was watching him dive after that slider away, and his ability to recognize and lay off of that. My gosh.
Yeah, I mean, we're 48 games. He's had 184 at bats, and he's batting 326 with an OPS of 822.
Kevin, you said it yesterday. It's not a fluke. You said that yesterday.
I said yesterday. It's not a streak. It's not a. He got hot for a while. This is just who he seems to be now.
It feels like so obviously the most important thing is not swinging at sliders 8 feet out of the zone, but it feels like by taking that loop out, like he's obviously quicker bat to ball, but he's level through, like the barrel seems to be in the hitting zone longer.
Yeah,
And
so he goes all good. So are we saying like Jeremy Pena's a 320, 30, 940 guy? Like, is that?
I would say probably not that high. I would say he's probably. I would say he's Brantley with maybe Brantley before the injury. I think he's going to be anywhere between 285 and 320, and I think he's probably going to be 20 to 25 bombs.
Yeah, he's at 5 home runs now.
What's he hitting now, Kevin? What's his batting average right now?
He's at 326 right now with in slugging 457 and OPS 822.
And he plays a beautiful shortstop.
Yes, he does.
You remember how devastated so many fans were when Correa left?
That was the part that like the irreplaceable. It's the leadership part now, but at the time I was like, man, we're gonna miss his glove. Not as much.
Not as much
as I thought.
I saw, because of last night's debacle with Framber, I did see a number of times. I saw the Carlos Correa in the playoffs moment today, and I do miss that dude.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I want to see. I want to go to the master class that Correa puts on for negotiating contracts.
Holy moly, right?
Bro. We know you're broken, but we'll give it all to you
Come on
anyway.
over here,
Whatever you want, you big crazy guy. My favorite is that dude lands back in Minnesota, and everybody's like, "Hey, he's back!" Like, bro, he took y'all. Like, he was not kind to y'all. Y'all are definitely like the stepsisters, and
Yeah.
all right,
He went to the Giants and then to the Mets. Then he considered
anybody,
a joint coffee shop with Lance. And then a return to the Twin Cities.
Yeah.
The American League Central is on fire, dude. Like, they're actually playing good baseball. Everybody in that division, except for the White Sox, is at or above 500.
Well, the White Sox aren't even a real baseball team, so I mean, let's just leave that off of there.
They've got all catchers.
Corey Lee's having himself a year.
Corey Lee is having a year.
I still want Yiner.
Yiner's got Pena's curveball chasing thing.
So Chaz is the odd man out, right?
Dude,
Because
I don't know. I think Victor is going to take Yiner's spot.
You think so?
I think if it plays out through the rest of the season, I think Caratini takes Yiner's spot.
I think the thing that and this actually is for me, this is actually a nod to Pena. I mean Caratini. Well, it's Caratini first because he puts the ball where it has to be, where it's the only place you can possibly get an out. But I think, and I heard Blum talking about it, and when a ball is being thrown to you, and I played a little bit of first base, is you have this tendency to always want to go get it. But for Pena to have the presence of mind to let that ball travel and just
drop it.
Yeah, it's just Pena is playing incredible shortstop right now.
Oh,
He is.
man. Next, yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
We don't make defensive mistakes, which like with our pitching, the way our pitching has been. Well, Abreu made
Well, we
defensive
can't.
mistakes. Yeah.
So, Jake, who I heard another, this is why I love baseball story about that makes me even pull harder for Jake. Apparently, you asked a couple weeks ago about what kind of hazing does a guy like Loperfido get when he comes up. Well, there was a day where Chaz and Jake were sitting down and they were eating something that was like really delicious. And Loperfido walked up and commented on how good it looked and where they could get it. And Jake was like, "Oh, sorry, dude. You got to have four service days for this." So
It's not for you, kid. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Get your hands off my burrito.
But not only is Jake getting it done, but he's been clutch, man.
Yeah. No,
It comes through.
Yeah, there was a big I was never anti-Jake. I hadn't seen Jake be continually persistently productive, and I have now. Like he for sure is the real. I don't know what it may have just been that got to play every day, which again you're putting at jeopardy by rushing back a guy that doesn't need to come back in Chaz McCormick, right? Like what was so broken that we have to have Chaz back?
A ninth outfielder.
Yes. I don't. And why is it him and not one of these other kids? Why not Pedro Leon? Why not? I mean, like,
draw out Chaz's rehab so he goes down to AAA and hits 380 with 14 home runs, and then trade him from there.
Yep. Because all you're doing right now is
that Chaz has one of the Astros' iconic catches of all time.
We got videotape.
But yeah, that's not this year.
Yep.
And he's got a ring for it. Remember it
he
fondly.
does.
So has your season outlook changed in terms of win totals?
No.
I could see us getting to 87 to 88 wins if we stay on this
pace. We might get a
pace.
few more wins, but we're still, as long as we're under the umbrella that's upside down and drowning people of Espada, then no.
We have to win. We have to win division games, especially against the Angels and A's.
Yeah, I think that in order for us to get to 80, I think my deal was 100-win clip got us to 92 games, right? So we have to play at a
95-win clip.
Yeah, 95 win.
When we play teams like the Angels, it's not the time to tinker and mess around. We need to come out like we're hungry.
Yeah, that's the deal. Like my thought, the reason I got so encouraged by the Abreu thing was because I was like, they sent him there to die. Like we'll never hear from him again. I never thought he'd be back. I could never have conceived of them bringing him back this year, much less with fewer than 50 at bats.
Well, and I actually get the opinion
that's a low number too.
I get the opinion that everybody else in that roster except Framber knows that last night was not a game to tinker. I don't know what the heck I don't know what his problem is. I could see us getting to 87, 88 wins, which if we got to there, I think we're first or second in the division.
Yeah.
Seattle pitches their backside off.
I think one person from the West makes the playoffs this year. I don't think there are extras.
I think the Central cools off. I think you can go ahead and pencil in the Yankees and the Orioles. And so it's expanded playoffs now. So they have play-in round. I don't know, all of them or something.
Yeah.
6, but 8, to the real 7? Playoffs, like to the non-one game playoffs, the non-play-in games.
Yeah.
You may be right, but so in the Central, the Twins seem legit. The Guardians have been pretty good. I don't think the Royals are there yet, and the White Sox certainly aren't.
Kansas City is 30-19.
I think it's early. I think they're going to fade, though. I think they're young, and they'll be 2 years ago's Orioles.
So do you think Minnesota right
Pirates.
now? Minnesota's one game over 500. You think Minnesota's going to leap Kansas City? So it'll be Cleveland and Minnesota.
I don't know that I think Minnesota will leap Kansas City as much as I think Kansas City will come back to Minnesota. Yeah.
You
So
think
New
Kansas
York
City
and
will
Baltimore.
dive under?
I just think, I mean, maybe not. Maybe they're the 2015 Astros, but
How many teams make it? 7?
I think that's right.
So, yeah, right now we are 8 games out of the final playoff spot. Right now it's Yankees, Guardians, Mariners, and then Orioles, Royals, and Tampa Bay. Kansas City's going to drop down, but then Minnesota goes up. We're behind Minnesota, Boston, Texas, Detroit, and Toronto.
I don't think the East has played a lot of games against themselves yet.
Oh, so they'll knock each other off.
So
Okay.
our win percentage in the West is, we're behind everybody in the East, and everybody in the Central except the White Sox.
Yes. But
West
this is where you have to start now looking at micros. That's not true over the last 15.
Yes. And it's not true in division.
Sure.
Like we have handled the Rangers. I mean, that was the one bright spot, right? Like we're losing to literally everybody else, but we're beating the Rangers.
Yep.
The Mariners beat us, but we just swept the A's, right? So we got the Angels coming up, and they're steaming piles. So we're doing well in division.
They hung it on us last night.
Yeah. Well, again,
Did you see the kid? I don't even know his name, but Framber went like 98 at the eyes, and a kid just tomahawked a line drive off of what used to be the Schlumberger sign, the community partners board. It was.
Yeah, your stuff don't play, dude. Like
it was. It was egregious.
Yeah, he definitely. I mean, he had his hands over his shoulders.
It was ridiculous, man. All right, last 2 questions, and they're kind of the same. Well, they are the same. What moves do you make? And you can have both or one. The moves can be an internal shuffle or a trade.
I don't think any moves we make matter while we have a spot up. I just don't see it happening.
I don't. The problem is, as we're heating up, I don't think he can fire Espada mid-season. I'm not saying I disagree with you.
No.
I just don't think he'll do it.
I don't think he will. I think he could. I don't think he will.
Well, he can do whatever he wants. He's a billionaire.
Yeah. Right.
Isn't that the rules?
Yeah, basically. But as long as we have Espada, I mean, the moves themselves, I mean, unless Dana Brown was on board and taking pieces away from him, like, no, you can't have Abreu, and Bregman can't hit above 5th, and
but isn't that what a general manager is supposed to do?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to be what ours is doing.
Well, I'm not sure that we have a general. Yeah, and I don't want to do the conspiracy theory, but
Bagwell
and
Jerry
Reggie
Jones,
Jackson, and all that. Like, so it's hard because there's so many like. The key for me, here's the thing that I want to know, and really only Crane knows this. Crane knows the likelihood of signing Tucker. And my deal is, if Tucker's not a reality, then I think you sell everything and start over.
You've got one this year plus one with Tuck.
And so I look at it right now and just go, he knows, right? Like if he's asking for 12,600 and Crane just knows I'm not going to do more than 8 years, then he knows. Then I think, you got to trade him right now while he's hot, and you just go, hey, we're dropping beer prices again because we're going to replenish, we're going to do whatever. I mean, you still got Jordan, you've got Yiner, you've got Pena, you've got all that, but now you start going for real. If Tucker's not going to happen, Tucker, probably maybe Garcia, Framber, Bregman, Chaz, Jake, some of like those guys really start to be on the block, and hopefully guys like, you know, some of those minor league guys are a little closer to the ready. It doesn't have to be an 8-year rebuild, but I've got enough Dallas Cowboy PTSD. Like tinkering around the edges is never going to get you where you need to be.
If I'm only making internal moves this year, I probably try to get Yiner some reps at first base. Let him and Loper Fido platoon or something. Just get Victor Caratini more at bats. If I trade, I probably need to trade Chaz, but if I'm honest, I don't know what for. There aren't a ton of glaring needs. I think we had bullpen questions. I think Taylor Scott has been incredible. I think Hunter Brown out of the bullpen has actually been really great one time through. So others guys.
Do we need to reload in the minors?
Yep.
Yeah, but not.
That's what you do. That's what you trade Chaz for. That's what you trade that extra outfielder.
I just don't know how bad. I wonder what we would get in return for Chaz. Like, what kind of prospect?
Yeah, and even that, like, where do we go? Like, if, you know, I would take a legit center fielder, right? Like someone who's going to play every day, not right left platoon, a real center fielder. Julio Rodriguez, is that his name? A
hitting third baseman.
If I could get somebody of that talent, I know we just spent celebrating the kid, but if I could get that caliber of talent, I would trade Jake and Chaz, and I would just
100%.
We're going to go. My outfield is Loper Fido, whoever we pick up, and Tucker.
Yep, all the time.
I probably expect us to stay pretty pat, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, nothing's going to happen.
We're barring injury.
There'll be lower level because I think Dana Brown's a scout at heart, so he's going to find some waiver wire stuff, and I think there will be guys that you never heard of, but I don't think we splash.
No. Barring injury, we're a really good team. So this was a lot of fun, boys.
Always.
We'll be back next week. Hopefully, we won't have any meltdowns. Who do we got coming up? We got more of the A's. So hopefully, I don't know.
Happy to tell you, Aaron. Maybe.
This is quality. Really. This is quality TV right here.
Hey, let's just sit here in silence while I look.
Can we all watch Jason search for his pocket schedule? That would be great.
We got the A's. We're going to Oakland.
To the A's.
That.
Now, Jordan will hit 15 home runs in that series. He loves that ballpark.
Yep. And then Seattle.
Seattle is going to be very telling. So.
Yep.
Hey, you guys are the.
Yeah, it'll be kind of like playing the Brewers. It's going to be, good to see what we do against a good team.
Yep, I agree. Well, hey, thank you guys for tuning in and watching. We have a lot of fun doing this, even if you don't watch, but it means a lot that you do. If you're watching us on YouTube, would you subscribe and share it? It costs you nothing. It helps us a great deal. It means a lot to us. Until next week, friends, play ball. We'll see you next week, boys.
Go Astros.
Go Astros.